David's going to give him a beating, man. To be honest with you, I think David, is going to stop him maybe like in the 9-10 round. Maybe if he would have just...
David Benavidez and David Morrell Jr. are set to clash this weekend, and boxing fans are hyped. Both men are young, strong, and undefeated at light heavyweight. They both won their last fights in dominant fashion, and now they will battle for a shot at the undisputed title. Benavidez is coming off a solid win over Alexander Gazek. It was his first fight at 175 wolves. After moving up from super middleweight, he had been chasing a fight with Canelo Alvarez at 168. But that never happened, so he moved up, won his first fight, and now holds the WBC interim light heavyweight title. Morrell is in the same boat. He moved up to 175, beat rival Gazek and the WBA interim title. Now these two must fight to see who becomes the mandatory winner of URBBV versus Benavidez, which takes place later in.
Hey, there's 3 weeks left to fight. 3 weeks left to fight. There's nothing you can do.
February, people in the boxing world have been debating this matchup for months. It's a close one. Benavidez has power, size, and relentless pressure. Morrell is slick, quick, and extremely skilled. So what did the experts think? Chris Algieri kept it simple at 175. I would favor Benavidez at 168. I may favor Morrell. He is fantastic regardless. It's a very tough fight, very close. I'm happy it's happening. That's a fair take. Morrell was very dominant at 168, but Benavidez is a monster in the ring. The weight class could play a role in who wins.
I say it's a 50-50 fight, and I know some might say, well, why do you think it's a 50-50 fight? Because, one, we know we've definitely seen a lot from Benavidez over the years. When it comes to Morrell, we've seen, spots.
Leonard Ellerby thinks the fight will be wild. I expect somebody's going to hit the canvas, and it might be early. Both guys really want this fight and want to make a big statement. There's going to be trash talk and drama in the buildup. This is a fight the fans will love. He's right. Both men hit hard. Neither is afraid to mix it up. The crowd will be on their feet for this one. Tim Bradley had a strong opinion. I still think Morrell needs more seasoning. His last fight wasn't great. Benavidez can do a little bit of everything. We see him as an aggressive pressure fighter, but he can also move and box. That makes me believe Morrell will struggle. This is a key point. Morrell is extremely talented, but he only has 11 pro fights. He's skilled, but has he faced someone like Benavidez? Not
this guy, way more stronger. I just feel like, it's just a hype. This guy has his hype, and you can see he's scared. All these past interviews and these past, face-offs, you can tell that guy's scared. He's not. He talks a big talk, but I could tell by his...
Gabriel Rosado kept it short. I favor Benavidez, but you can't sleep on Morrell. Caleb Plant also gave a good breakdown. Their styles are different. One is a southpaw, the other is right-handed. One puts his punches together very well, and so does Morrell. He's a little more crafty, but also a little more passive in his approach. It's a big fight, and I'm excited. Then there's Joseph Ben-Aid Sr., David's father and trainer. He made headlines by saying Caleb Plant is better than Morrell. He also said Morrell is making a mistake by fighting his son so early in his career. This is the best camp we've ever had. David is on another level mentally and physically. His man strength has kicked in. You're going to see a more powerful David than before. He went further, saying Morrell should have fought other guys first. Why did they put him in with David? They made a mistake. He should have fought Caleb Plant, Demetrius Andrade, Trevor McSee, or Anthony Durrell first.
We got Choppy. David said, I'm going to break your face. Morrell was talking. Break down the fight.
That's a good fight. Good tough fight for both of those guys. They're both undefeated, so one has to lose. But, got to give them respect. Both taking it. It's a good fight. I think it's 50-50.
Some fans think this is just mind games. Others feel he's showing fear. Morrell has been calling for this fight since 2022, and Benz's team only agreed to it now. Some believe they were hoping Morrell would lose or look bad before fighting him. Instead, Morrell dominated his last fight. Now they have no choice but to face him. People defending Morrell say the fighters Benavidez Sr. mentioned wouldn't have helped him much. Andrade is 36, Durrell is 40 and hasn't fought in years. Plant is still active, but likely wouldn't have taken the fight. Morrell's team knew this was the best way to get a title shot. If Morrell wins, he will be the mandatory for the winner of BBF versus Benavidez, That means a huge payday and a chance to be undisputed.
Morrell has not had resistance. His fight with Hot Rod, that was a different kind of resistance. That was the resistance of somebody staying away from you. You know what I mean? And him not being able to catch up to him. With Benavidez can bang with.
There's a lot at stake. Benavidez is also in the same position. Winning this fight puts him one step closer to greatness. That will take place at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. It will be on PBC on Prime Video, costing $79.95 USD. The buildup has been intense and both fighters seem confident. I still think Morrell still needs a little bit more seasoning, to be honest with you. I wasn't too fond of his last fight. It wasn't too fun. You know, Benavidez can do a little bit of everything. We only see him as being a presser type of assassin type of guy, you know, throwing combinations, quick combinations. And really, you know, just stepping on the gas and squashing guys. But you know he can move and box if he wants to as well. You know he can. I've seen him, so he has that degree, so he can do a little bit of everything in there. This makes me believe that, you know, Morrell is going to struggle against that, said Tim Bradley.
And that's why they were making such a big thing. They didn't want to touch. But dirty fighters will be exposed in this game. You know what I mean? And that's not good for the sport, and it's not good for people, you know, to use steroids. So, you know, I'm not going to let...
What's the status of that right now? The testing, what is being used?
That's 50-50 right there. If anything, 55-45 for Benavidez. I love David versus David. I love everything about the fight. The thing David Benavidez has over Morrell is experience and true strength. Both of those guys are big guys. But I think David Benavidez is a more natural 175-pounder. When you're in a competitive fight that you know is going to go 12 rounds, of course, you're prepared for the 12. But when you have had that experience of having resistance at different points in the fight, it's nothing new to you.
At this moment, I know it's the big fight, the big moment for me. I'm going to the front refresh, everything.
Canelo Alvarez, on the other hand, admits he's torn on the winner of Saturday's light heavyweight showdown between David Benavidez and David Morrell. Canelo will no doubt be a keen observer when Benavidez and Morrell, two men he's been linked with in the past, meet for the WBA regular and WBC interim titles. Benavidez is the bookmaker favorite to defeat the undefeated Cuban, but Alvarez sees it as an even fight. It's going to be a good fight, the 34-year-old told IFL TV 50-50 Fight Bob Santos, trainer of Mario Barros, Jason Rosario, and more. It doesn't get any better than this fight. You have two elite young athletes in their primes. This is great for the sports world. Benavidez has fast hands, an unbelievable jab, high ring IQ, and savviness from his plethora of fights.
In February 1st, in the T-Mobile Arena, you got two young guys in their prime fighting each other. I got to give credit to Benavidez for taking the fight. A lot of people say he was scared of Morrell. Canelo didn't want to fight him. He signed up to fight.
Morrell Jr. has those superior Cuban skills with his hand speed, foot speed, and athleticism to burn. Get your popcorn ready, because it's going to be unbelievable. I know both guys very well, and I'm rolling with David Morrell Jr. It's going to be a great fight, a 50-50 fight. Stephen S. Smith, one of ESPN's most outspoken analysts, made it clear where he stands. He's a huge fan of David Benavidez and respects him for always taking on the toughest challenges. David Benavidez versus David Morrell Jr. is a big fight. Smith said, "I'm a huge David Benavidez fan and I applaud him because he ducks no one. He's ready to fight at all times. He is the Mexican monster. Sometimes I wonder if someone is going to hurt him because he doesn't really move. He's shown that he can take a punch, and he can damn sure give one with either hand. He's got speed, he's got power, he's got boxing ability, and he's got heart. I don't know."
Now for this fight is that you're the one that's experienced. He has a deep amateur pedigree, but it's you who has the experience. Do you see that fight like this, or do you just see him just as another opponent?
I mean, I don't really see the amateur as any... I don't see that as, you know, this is not an amateur fight. This is professional. You know, this is a championship fight, 12 rounds. So, I mean, we might have an advantage, you know, the first 3 rounds.
Yeah. Scared.